Hallo guys, the Critical German here and welcome to a new wunderbares video. Kyoko Sakura is a character that has probably the least amount of screen time in Madoka Magica, but is nonetheless an essential part to the main girls. She represents the magical girl world in Madoka Magica how it truly is. Everyone is selfish and fights for their own gains, and that is to survive and get stronger. Although the magical girls don't know about Kyubei's true plan and nature, it is common for them to stay in their own territories and don't cross borders. This is what Mami tells us. Our own main group members are special in this regard, because they team up. So when Kyoko enters the stage, the true magical girl world collides with the bubble that Mami formed in Sayaka's mind. Although Kyoko seems selfish, rude and brutal, you have to consider her backstory. So let's dive deep into her character. Kyoko grew up in a poor family. She always had nothing and her parents rarely had money. His father had a church and was a priest but preached his own views on the world, so he had no followers. Kyoko's wish was that people listen to his father's words, so he can preach his thoughts to people. But when he finds out that Kyoko is a magical girl, he thinks it's witchcraft, becomes mad and kills his whole family by setting the church on fire. So Kyoko's wish backfired and she made everything worse. The consequences are, she has to fight for the rest of her life against witches. For a wish that ended in a tragedy. No wonder she ends up that way. But it is remarkable that she didn't fall into despair for being in this situation. You could even say she is mostly fine. At least she's not a witch. She even shows sympathy for Sayaka's situation because it's kinda the same. Well, I would argue that having your entire family killed is way worse than losing your potential love interest, but they both have to fight for an unfulfilled wish anyway. Anyway, I can tell you why Sayaka fell into despair and Kyoko didn't. It's actually quite logical. Kyoko grew up in a harsh environment since she was a child. They didn't have enough food or money, so fighting to survive was already given. Being a magical girl in a tough situation then is a situation she already kinda experienced. She was already strong from the beginning and she could adapt better to this situation. So she didn't fall into despair because she had it tough before. Compare this to Sayaka. She would have fallen into despair immediately because she grew up normally. Kyoko is more simple-minded. Eat food to survive. This is why you see her constantly eating. Yeah, because she didn't have much food to survive, but also to show her drive to survive. Kinda like street dogs who eat everything when they find something, because they don't know when they get a meal again. Her sacrifice at the end is also very reasonable. I mean, there is nothing left for this girl. First, she learns that the world is even crueler than she thought because magical girls turn into witches. Second, she opened up to Sayaka and kinda saw her as a friend. This friend is now dead and so she lost her newfound friend. This led her to the decision to commit suicide and sacrifice herself in order to at least free Sayaka's tortured witch soul. Also, maybe her becoming a witch goes against her predetermined beliefs. I mean, her father was very religious and hated witches. So of course, Kyoko wouldn't want to become this one thing her father hated. Let's talk about her name next. Kyoko can mean mirror or fragrant flower. Mirror would fit perfectly. She is the mirror that shows the main girls the true harsh nature of a magical girl. She mirrors Sayaka's wish because it shows what happens at the end of an unfulfilling one. Fragrant flower is more difficult to interpret though. Kyoko is a strong-willed being, so she has a strong scent to her, which makes her a fragrant flower around our main girls. She is the flower in the garden that stands out from the rest. The meaning of Sakura is pretty difficult though. It depends on how you write it. So it's a nightmare for me here in Deutschland, where we have exact one word for one thing. Like Steuerberatungsbüro. The way Sakura's name is written can mean assist and treasury. Maybe she assists assists by finding a treasure. This treasure can be the realization Sayaka's, that she can be more selfish and that way of thinking is completely fine. Kyoko is the one that assists her coming to this realization. So Kyoko Sakura can be seen as a mirror because she is a mirror that Sayaka sees herself in. This mirror assists her and she comes to a realization that acts as a true treasure. That treasure is the acceptance of an unfulfilled wish and more selfishness. That was my video on Kyoko Sakura. Which character do you want to see next? Write it down in the comments. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Macht's gut, bis dann, ciao.